New Vision, who dis? Welcome back, Nerd Squad. White Vision made his first appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, appearing in the Disney Plus series WandaVision at the end of episode 8, previously on. But just who is this mysterious version of our most loved synthezoid hero? Is he good? Is he evil? And have we ever seen him anywhere before? The answers to these questions and more are complicated, and so we decided to make a video to help you get up to date on who this new version of Viz is and what you should know about him before heading into the WandaVision finale. Join me as we get informed together and count down the top 10 White Vision facts you need to know. Time to put on our knowledge caps and learn some facts. Let's get counting. Number 10, Canadian Secret Service? Who's responsible in the comics for giving us this version of Vision? That is a complicated question to answer because it actually was a bunch of people who appeared to be someone that they weren't. The people who kidnapped Vision approached Mockingbird initially for her help and appeared to her to be working for the usual secret organization that we all suspect, S.H.I.E.L.D. After she found out their true plot, however, she was locked up and realized based on the appearance of her cell alone that they were actually KGB. Later on, we discovered that it wasn't KGB, but actually a Canadian spy working for the Canadian Secret Service in league with various other operatives from secret services all over the world. Together, they created a group known as Vigilance, who were formed after Vision had revealed how powerful he was when he took control of the world's computers. Hold on, do we even have a Secret Service here in Canada? Oh, apparently we do. You'd think we'd be one of the least secretive acronyms out there, CSI, but they're actually the CSIS, Canadian Security Intelligence Service. I also just love how secret intelligence operations are still Googleable. Are they really that secret then? Number 9, Immortus. That's right, while Vigilance was responsible for the actual deed of capturing and dismantling Vision, they in turn were being manipulated into doing so by one of the Avengers' biggest bads in comics, Immortus. Immortus is a time-traveling villain who is known by many different names, including Kang the Conqueror, depending on where he is in his own timeline when he shows up. In the comics, it was revealed that the true identity of this villain was none other than the young hero Iron Lad all grown up. Many therefore speculate that White Vision's appearance in the MCU could therefore imply that Immortus or Kang, who we know will appear in the next Ant-Man film, could actually be responsible somehow for manipulating S.W.O.R.D's actions, influencing them from behind the scenes to create White Vision and go after Wanda. It's all part of his master plan, since in the comics it was Immortus all along for this plot. Not Agatha all along for this one. I know, disappointing, because I like that song. Number 8, dismantled scene in WandaVision. Well, I have speculated a few times in the past about what the true identity or allegiance of director Tyler Hayward is in WandaVision. Is he working for or some other version of Kang? Is he part of AIM? Is he Mephisto? This time around, when it comes to a specific scene, though, in WandaVision, compared to the comics, Hayward actually plays the role of Mockingbird. Huh? Near the end of issue 43 of the West Coast Avengers, you see Mockingbird lead Scarlet Witch to where her husband is being kept, only for it to be revealed that he has been completely and utterly dismantled. Oh no. Better a widow. Actually, a much more gruesome scene in comparison to the version we saw in the show, in my opinion. Here, however, Mockingbird isn't trying to keep Wanda from Vision. She's returned to the Avengers team to try and help them after being led astray by someone who she thought worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., but who was in reality using her as a pawn. So a similar role really only in terms of their purpose in that one scene, as Hayward definitely does not seem to want to help Wanda when she bursts into S.W.O.R.D. looking to reclaim Vision's lifeless body after the events of Infinity War and Endgame. Well, I mean, I think he does want to help her. He wants to help her bring Vision back, I think, but he doesn't want to, give her Vision's body to bury. He's like, no. 2 visions. Or rather, 2 attempts. That is to say that when Vision is brought back for the first time in the comics after being dismantled, he doesn't actually come back as the White Vision we saw in WandaVision. The first time Vision is brought back by Hank Pym and Wonder Man, aka Simon Williams, something goes wrong, and he kind of has more of a boiled down Terminator look going on. Just Terminator skeleton look with a little bit of flesh. Vision ends up going berserk and actually attacks Wanda when she tries to reach out to him and connect. His emotions are gone and he's kind of a homicidal maniac. Fortunately, Hank and Wonder Man, with a little bit of help from Hawkeye, managed to get Vision back under control, knocking him unconscious so they could try again. But they also then realized that his personality had basically been wiped clean, which is why he was so defensive when he was brought back to life and reassembled by Hank. So they gotta rework some of that programming a bit. Number 6, no emotions. The second time that Hank brought Vision back, he managed to reprogram him with all the information he would need about the Avengers so that he would come back as an ally, a friend, a hero, much closer to his older self, but something huge was still missing. In the MCU, it's likely that Vision's Mind Stone will be that vital ingredient, but in the comics, it was actually his brain patterns or his brain waves, which were taken from Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, when he was originally created. Unfortunately, this time around, Simon didn't want to cooperate. He felt that his brain waves, which gave Vision his soul, had been taken without his consent before, and this time he didn't want to give them up, feeling it was kind of like a violation of his own soul. And so the Vision came back without any emotions. Even though Wanda tried to be like, but he's my husband and I love him, please help. Simon was like, yeah, he's like my brother, but no. Number 5, Wonder Man's true motivations. While Wonder Man's explanation for not lending his brain patterns to White Vision because he felt as though his own soul had been violated in the process of creating Viz the first time around was, I'm sure, true, when it came down to it, Wonder Man kind of kept himself out of the process to give himself a better shot at Scarlet Witch, who he'd always had a thing for and was madly in love with, which it's actually theorized is why former Vision was so enamored with Scarlet Witch as well. Wonder Man keeping his brain patterns to himself would of course make it almost impossible for Vision and Scarlet Witch to ever really reconcile, and eventually this would also lead to Wanda finding love and happiness with Simon, meaning that Wonder Man would in essence get what he always wanted, Scarlet Witch's love and affection. Wonder Man later on would die, and Wanda would actually bring him back in a way similar to what we saw her do with her own version of Vision, Fake Vision, in the show. Number 4, arc reactor? Some theorize that in the middle of White Vision from the MCU's forehead, where the Mind Stone would normally be, he instead has an arc reactor. It lies just beneath the surface of his synthetic skin, making it kinda hard to see whether the triangular light is actually an arc reactor or not. If it were though, it could be being used to continually power White Vision, whereas Wanda's chaos magic taken from the drone was simply the kickstart they needed as to the full power source, similar to what Thor's hammer provided when Vision was initially created in the Age of Ultron. We know that Wanda, after all, has the full potential of her powers unlocked by the Mind Stone, and the Mind Stone played basically a big part in giving Vision life. This would also make a ton of sense that Wanda's magic is connected to that stone, considering that when she destroyed Vision the first time around, it didn't hurt him. He said that he felt only her. It would also make sense as to why she perhaps can't sense Vision when she visits his corpse at SWORD headquarters, because he no longer has the Mind Stone. They are both connected to the Mind Stone. But if it is an arc reactor supplying the constant power and not Wanda's magic, then what does this mean for their future connection? Also, how did SWORD get Stark's technology? Will we potentially see the Armor Wars story arc find its way into the MCU? Number 3, all new, all white Vision. If you were wondering why Vision lost his bright color palette, in the comics it's explained as happening as a result of his biosynthetic skin being removed. It was basically badly damaged during the dismantling process when it was ripped off of him, and that damage meant that now Vision's colors, like his personality, would be much less vibrant. I like to think of this as in stories when people get like super shocked and then their hair turns white, and I think that can also happen in life too, if you experience a ton of shock. Many people have also seen the change in his coloring as symbolism for what was going on for the character in terms of his personal development. Vision would be without his emotional attachment to the information that he had, his programming wiped clean, and kinda left him a blank slate, which Hank did his best to rebuild. While Vision had returned, the change in color indicated that he wasn't the same Vision, and implied that he actually may never be who he was again, as he started fresh and started anew. We're gonna see him become someone different this time around, potentially. Number 2, Vision's marriage. White Vision still respected Wanda and their relationship, but he couldn't love her. It wasn't possible due to his lack of emotional response. This caused a great amount of distance to open up between the couple, and put a lot of strain on their relationship. Eventually, the two would break up, with Vision heartlessly doing so over the phone, asking Wonder Man to kind of pass the message along, basically to Wanda while she was in recovery. We see this difficult time in their relationship revisited in Tom King's Vision, when Scarlet Witch pleads with Vision to explain what has happened to him to their children, and Vision basically responds that they're no longer his children. You can check out this heartbreaking moment in issue 7 of 2016's Vision series, and the brutal breakup moment in issue 63 of Avengers West Coast, the renamed but continuation of the 80s West Coast Avengers series. Avengers West Coast, I feel like, is a weird name change that they did, but hey, it happened. Number 1, Vision Quest. If you really want to get up to speed about exactly how White Vision came to be and was resurrected and created, an important story to touch on in the comics would be the West Coast Avenger arc, Vision Quest. This story took place from issue 42 to 45 of the 1985 West Coast Avengers comic series. And if you've been checking out all the lists, they've probably brought it up before, but yeah, you should go and read it. Seriously, go back, read it, check it out. It follows the journey of Scarlet Witch as she searches for her missing husband and discovers that he was kidnapped and dismantled. We then see Hank Pym and Wonder Man do their best to reconstruct Vision and follow along as a new version of him is reborn. For the beginnings of this chapter in Vision's life, this is one of the best places to start. And then you can kind of go out from there, because yeah, there is quite a few White Vision things that happen after that. What facts do you want to share about White Vision? Are there any other Marvel comic stories or characters featured or hinted at in WandaVision that you would like to learn more about? Or objects even? There are some really good references just in props alone in the show. Still waiting for that vase. Will the vase show up? I don't know. Share your requests, facts, thoughts, and excitements in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight, reminding you, as always, to stay nerdy, YouTube.